to anything that moved. Yesterday it was sweet madness, reciting poems for hours and talking about love to anything that moved. I lay down late, thinking I might be able to sleep all the way until there was the light of resplendent sounds and polished jokes from the morning birds. That was foolish of me, for in just a few minutes, 3 worlds crawled from a cave in my heart, built a huge fire, and yelled, "Get up!" They could not contain their happiness, living inside of one as ripe as I. We began jumping up and down and banging our heads like a drunk bronze clapper in a sacred Buddhist bell against the fields and mountains, against all the jeweled walls of this universe. Yesterday was such exquisite madness. Singing about the friend for hours and talking about love to anything that dared to move. Yet, I believe another wonderful day, and perhaps an even sweeter height of rare, inspired insanity, Hafiz has just begun. Absolutely clear. Don't surrender your loneliness so quickly. Let it cut more deep. Let it ferment and season you as few human or even divine ingredients can. Something is missing in my heart tonight. Has made my eyes so soft, my voice so tender, my need of God absolutely clear. Listen. Listen more carefully to what is around you right now. In my world, there are bells from the clanks of the morning milk drums, and a wagon wheel outside my window just hit a bump, which turned into an ecstatic chorus of the beloved's name. There is the prayer call, rising up like the sun out of the mouths of 1,000 birds. There is an astonishing vastness of movement and life emanating sound and light from my folded hands and my even quieter, simple being and heart. My dear, is it true that your mind is sometimes like a battering ram, running all through the city, shouting so madly inside and out about the 10,000 things that do not matter? Hafiz, too, for many years beat his head in youth and thought himself at a great distance, far from an armistice with God. But that is why this scarred old pilgrim has now become such a sweet, rare vintage who weeps and sings for you. That is why Hafiz will forever, in his verse, play his cymbal and call to you. Oh, listen. Listen more carefully to what is inside of you right now. In my world, all that remains is the wondrous call to dance and prayer, rising up like 1,000 suns out of the mouth of a single bird. The Happy Virus. I caught the happy virus last night when I was out singing beneath the stars. It is remarkably contagious. So, kiss me. In a handful of God. Poetry reveals that there is no empty space. When your truth forsakes its shyness, when your fears surrender to your strengths, you will begin to experience that all existence is a teeming sea of infinite life. In a handful of ocean water, you could not count all the finely tuned musicians who are acting stoned for very intelligent and sane reasons, and of course are becoming extremely sweet and wild. In a handful of the sky and earth, in a handful of God, we cannot count all the ecstatic lovers who are dancing there behind the mysterious veil. True art reveals there is no void or darkness. There is no loneliness to the clear-eyed mystic in this luminous, brimming, playful world. Your shape of laughter. Let my words become like a skilled potter's hands, quieting, smoothing your life with their knowledge, reaching into your tender core and spreading you out like the morning that leaps from the sun's amused wink onto hills, brows, and the backs of so many beautiful laboring beasts. God's duty is to make perfect all your movements of mind, of limb, and your ascending shape of laughter. Watch the way my hands dance with their diamond-edged brilliance, cutting you open with music, reaching into your heart, and spilling the night sky jar you carry that is always full of giggling planets and stars. My words are a divine potter's wheel. If you stay near to me, please stay near to me. And Hafiz will spin you into love. "10,000 idiots." It is always a danger to aspirants on the path when they begin to believe and act as if the 10,000 idiots who so long ruled and lived inside have all packed their bags and skipped town or died.
Look, I know what I'm doing.
Trust me. No, you gotta trust me on this one. Yeah, no, the first one's free. The subject tonight is love. The subject tonight is love. And for tomorrow night as well. As a matter of fact, I know of no better topic for us to discuss until we all die. All the hemispheres. Leave the familiar for a while. Let your senses and bodies stretch out like a welcomed season onto the meadows and shores and hills. Open up to the roof. Make a new watermark on your excitement. And love. Like a blooming night flower, bestow your vital fragrance of happiness and giving upon our intimate assembly. Change rooms in your mind for a day. All the hemispheres in existence lie beside an equator in your heart. Greet yourself in your 1,000 other forms as you mount the hidden tide and travel back home. All the hemispheres in heaven are sitting around a fire chatting, while stitching themselves together into the great circle inside of you. Build a house for men. You have taken root in the beloved. I love your golden branches and the 100 graceful movements your body now makes. Each time the wind, children, and love come near. Build a house for men and birds. Sit with them. Play music for a day, just one day. Talk about that which disturbs no one. And bring some peace into your beautiful eyes. Why play notes from your soft mouth flute that hurt the blue sky's ear? The friend has such exquisite taste that every time you bow to him, your mind will become lighter and more refined. Your spirit will prepare its voice to laugh in an outrageous freedom. You have taken root in our beloved. I love your emerald branches and the 100 ways your heart does dance. Every time you discover God is so pleased because his hands are always playing catch with your soul. Deepening the Wonder. Death is a favor to us, but our scales have lost their balance. The impermanence of the body should give us great clarity, deepening the wonder in our senses and eyes of this mysterious existence we share and are surely just traveling through. If I were in the tavern tonight, Hafiz would call for drinks, and as the master poured, I would be reminded that all I know of life and myself is that we are just a mid-air flight of golden wine between his pitcher and his cup. If I were in the tavern tonight, I would buy freely for everyone in this world, because our marriage with the cruel beauty of time and space cannot endure very long. Death is a favor to us, but our minds have lost their balance. The miraculous existence and impermanence of form always makes the illumined ones laugh and sing. I saw you dancing. I saw you dancing last night on the roof of your house, all alone. I felt your heart longing for the friend. I saw you whirling beneath the soft, bright rose that hung from an invisible stem in the sky. So I began to change into my best clothes in hopes of joining you, even though I live 1,000 miles away. And if you had spun like an immaculate sphere just 2 more times, then bowed again so sweetly to the east, you would have found God and me standing so near. And lifting you into our arms. I saw you dancing last night near the roof of this world. Hafiz feels your soul in mine, calling for our beloved. The Theater of Freedom. In my divine studio, what I have been working on is this: painting the truth, revealing a more realistic picture of God, tearing down the cruel walls that separate you from the tenderness of fire. Someone must be withholding the crucial lines in all those stories you've heard of our friend. For there is still too much fear and pallor upon your cheeks. And I rarely see you in the marvelous theater of freedom. Hafiz knows you could not describe him, even if we sat side by side on a caravan for years. Even if we slept close in my desert tent, and you became familiar with the holy scent that the sun and my master leave whenever they visit me. For something has happened to your youthful passions. That great fuel you once had to defend yourself against becoming tamed. And your eyes now often tell me that your once vital talent to extract joy from the air has fallen into a sleep. All that you could ever say of me can only describe my camel's tail and that coarse hair that is barely visible sometimes on the left side of the moon's nose. In my divine studio, where I am sitting right now, crafting your heart, lyre, and flute, I long for the day when you will join me in knowing the extraordinary humor and all the enchanting realities of the infinite performances of God. Hafiz, whose given name was Shamsuddin Muhammad, lived from around 1320 to 1389. He remains to this day the most beloved poet of Persians. Poets in the time of Hafiz would often address themselves in their poems, as if carrying on a conversation. This was considered a method of signing a poem as one might sign a painting or a letter to a friend. In his poems, Hafiz sometimes speaks from the point of view of a seeker, and other times from the point of view of a realized master or guide. Throughout his work, Hafiz uses the words friend and beloved as a direct reference or synonym for the word God.